Confucius, Socrates, John Locke, and Karl Marx are four philosophers whose ideas reshape entire civilizations, and understanding how they changed the world requires exploring the immense ripple effects of their teachings across cultures, governments, and centuries of human history. Confucius, living in ancient China during a time of social chaos, believed that society could only survive when built on respect, responsibility, and moral behavior. And although his ideas began as simple teachings to his students, they eventually became the moral backbone of most of East Asia, influencing not only personal behavior, but also government systems, educational traditions, family structures, and concepts of harmony that endured for more than 2,000 years, shaping cultures in China, Korea, Japan, and Vietnam. His emphasis on virtue, filial piety, and social order created a stable framework that countless dynasties adopted as official doctrine. And even today, schools, laws, and cultural expectations across Asia carry the echoes of his philosophy, making him one of the most influential thinkers in human history. Meanwhile, in ancient Athens, Socrates revolutionized Western civilization by teaching people to question everything, refusing to accept tradition as truth simply because it had always been believed, and instead developing a method of dialogue, now known as the Socratic method, that encouraged people to test arguments through reason, logic, and critical thinking. A simple yet powerful approach that became the foundation of Western philosophy, inspired his students, Plato and Aristotle, and eventually shaped the scientific method, modern education, and the entire culture of questioning that defines the Western world. Without Socrates, ideas like individual reasoning, democratic debate, and intellectual skepticism would not have developed in the same way, and his influence continues to guide classrooms, legal practices, and scientific inquiry across the globe. Over a millennium later, John Locke would reshape the world again by arguing that every human being possesses natural rights, life, liberty, and property, and that governments exist to protect those rights, not take them away. Radical ideas at a time when kings claimed absolute power. Locke's philosophy directly inspired the Enlightenment, influenced leaders like Jefferson and Madison, and helped shape the American, French, and many later revolutions, fundamentally transforming global politics by giving people a new idea of what government should be, something accountable, limited, and based on the consent of the governed. Because of Locke, concepts like freedom of speech, democracy, human rights, and constitutional law spread around the globe, affecting countless nations and establishing the foundation for most modern political systems. Finally, Karl Marx challenged the world in an entirely different way, analyzing society through the lens of class struggle and economic power, arguing that capitalism inherently produced inequality and exploitation, and that true freedom could only emerge when workers controlled the means of production. Although controversial, Marx's ideas sparked movements, revolutions, and political systems across Europe, Asia, Africa, and Latin America, influencing labor rights, social welfare policies, and global economic debates for over a century. Throughout the 20th century, Marxist-inspired revolutions reshaped the borders, governments, and political ideologies of massive nations, while his critiques of capitalism continue to impact modern conversations about poverty, inequality, automation, globalization, and workers' rights. When we consider these four philosophers together, Confucius with his moral order, Socrates with his questioning of truth, Locke with his vision of rights and governance, and Marx with his analysis of class and power, we see how their ideas reach far beyond their lifetimes, embedding themselves into cultures, institutions, and global systems that touch billions of lives today. Their philosophies shaped how families interact, how schools teach, how governments rule, how revolutions begin, and how societies define justice, identity, and freedom. They shifted the direction of civilization itself, proving that ideas are powerful enough to outlive empires, rewrite laws, redefine morality, and inspire humanity to imagine entirely new ways of living, thinking, and building the world.